wanna go to a place. I wanna go to a place. We wanna go to a place. I wanna go to a place. I can take you there. I can take you there. Do you wanna go to a place? I can take you there. Say no. Search for by your side for a time by your side. Search for Hey, welcome back. I am TJ Randolph, and thanks for stopping by. Welcome to Mosaic with TJ Randolph, where here I am, a beautiful work of art made of many broken pieces. So I'm back. I didn't intend to come back, but so much going on. I'm like, I got to strike where the iron is hot. Strike where the iron is hot, I say. So I want to talk about it. I've been looking in a lot of things lately, and people are talking about it's business. It's business. Okay, it's business for y'all, not for me. It's personal. Can y'all hear my jazz in the background? Let me know if it's too loud. Shout out to OG Patrice, my sis, and also my sis at Red Lipstick Vibes. I appreciate you. This was something I actually was going to do as a pre-record, but I decided since I'm in the mood, why not do it as a live? And if anybody wants to call in and talk, as I go along this thing, please do. Okay, you saw the thumbnail, and I have 3 distinct women on the thumbnail. I have Eve, I have Sierra, and I have Kiki Palmer. And you probably wonder, what do those 3 women have in common? And let me go ahead and throw myself into it. So what do these 4 women have in common? Well, I'll say we're women. We're mothers. Some of us are married. 3 of the 4 are married, and 1 is in a serious relationship. So I want to look at a couple of clips, and then I'm going to talk about some stuff because this is very personal to me. It's personal to me why I came to YouTube, and it's a hobby for me. I shout out to my husband and thank him for allowing him to be my parachute or my safe place to land. So I work if I want to, not because I have to. And with that, let me go ahead and do the announcements. Shout out to my baby, my hardworking trucker man, Mr. Randolph, who's on the road, and also to all the truckers on these highways and byways, bringing us our much needed goods and keeping the supply chain moving. I shout out my firstborn nephew, Ryan Spunk Adams, on his song Now. I love that song. It just puts me in the mood to just kind of have my shoulders just do some stuff. And shout out to my niecey Poo, Lucky Marie, for putting together the intro, because I'm not that tech savvy. And the truth of the matter is sometimes I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. So some people might say, well, that's not very committed. I will submit to you that's probably right. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm retired. I do what I want to do. So that's what brought me to want to talk about this subject today. So a couple of clips I want to share with you, and then we're going to get into it. Not to toot my own horn, But beep, beep. When I was thinking about what I wanted to say to you, and I was going through, because we're going to do some PowerPoints. And I wanted to share with you as I was putting together my PowerPoint that has a lot of pictures, and I'm going to share some stories. I had to come to the realization, girl, you done some stuff. You're pretty badass. I said, yeah, I am. No, I ain't been no entrepreneur. I've been a military officer and lady, and I've been a federal civil servant worker, but I've done some pretty awesome shit. So, and I'm a HR professional that they trying to get me to come out of retirement, y'all. They're trying to get me to come out of retirement. Well, what do you mean by that, TJ? I'm glad you asked. Y'all know I've been trying to find something part-time to do to keep my mind, keep it going, and so I don't become my mind doesn't become atrophied. So I was looking for little part-time jobs, working from home, and so I applied for this position. And this was a couple of weeks ago. I applied for this position. The first interview went really great. So the first interview was with the person that I will be working for, and it went really great. So they referred me to have the interview with the VP, which also went really great. So I thought, they're going to offer me the job, right? So a week came, and I'm looking at my email because I'm like, I know they're going to offer me the job, because I'm like, it went great. So a week comes, a little bit more than a week comes, and then I get an email, we really had an opportunity, really appreciate the opportunity to meet with you and discuss your qualifications, but we decided to go with another candidate. I'm like, what? So my mind goes there. I ain't gonna lie. I said, okay, it's probably because of my age. And a lot of times when they know you're retired, they say, well, maybe, this person won't be as committed because they're doing it as not because they have to, but because they want to. So that's where my mind went. So I'm proceeding with my life. And then I get an email last week and says from the same agency, the recruiter, and says, this may be a surprise, but we're reaching out because we've been authorized to bring on board an additional person for this role. Would you be interested in applying for it? I'm like, well, sure. And the VP would like to speak with you on this day to discuss it. I'm like, sure, great. So I have the interview with the VP, and we're talking. And she said, I'm not sure how much so-and-so told you about the role. I said, well, she told me that you are authorized to bring on board another HR employee relations person. So she says, well, they probably said it that way because they want out of deference to me and wanted to have me have to talk with you. So I'm listening. And she said, well, we're looking for someone. Well, I was really impressed with your qualifications, your leadership, all the things that you had done in your career, how you articulate your accomplishments. And, I said, even though she wasn't, TJ wasn't for this role, I just don't think that's going to be the end of it for TJ. So, and she said, but I didn't want to usurp the HR managers or HR directors role, because that's who I wanted her to pick the person that will be working for her. So when she decided to go with whoever she went, I wasn't surprised. But I said that I don't think it's going to be the end for TJ. So what I'm looking for right now, I'm looking for someone to head the compliance, benefits, and employee relations division. And I'm listening. I'm thinking, am I missing something? And she said, I wanted to know if you would be interested. I said, me? She said, yes. I said, wait a minute. So you're asking me if I want to be the director of HR? She said, yeah. I said, I didn't know that's what I was applying for. She said, well, that's what we would like for you to think about. So long story short, they want me to take over the role for the person that was going to hire me. In other words, she's out. They want me in. When you have some skill sets that is valuable to somebody, I'm pretty damn terrific, if I must say so myself. They trying to get me to come out of retirement. I don't know. I said I had to talk it over with my husband. It's nice to be wanted, ain't it? I done some pretty good shit. So that they're trying to get me to come out of retirement. So again, so as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today and I was pulling the pictures and stuff, I'm like, I want to share this because again, it's personal for me. It's personal for me because I say, if I can do it, so can you. If I can do it as a baby mama, so can you, if that's what you want. Because I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to keep it real with you in that it wasn't easy, but I got it done. And here I am on the other side. Hit the like button. So let's go. So it all started with Sierra. Okay. Y'all know about Sierra with this song, the independent and all that foolishness. I had the opportunity to have an interview with We Unlock Nation, and I'm going to share aspects of this with you, and we're going to talk about it. Because again, we women have a responsibility. Yeah, we may make it look easy. And I remember my daughter would say to me, Mom, you made it look so easy raising me, but it wasn't. So we got to be honest about this thing. We got to be honest. So let's go. Okay. So We Unlock Nation. I had an interview with him a couple of weeks ago, and I want to stop it and let me know if you all can't hear it. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear it, a 2 in the chat if you can't. So let's go and get into it.
Is getting a bad rap from y'all?
Well, let me put it like this. I really like Sierra, and I think one of the reasons that she is coming against some backlash is because she would be what many would consider to be a success story and a story of not only recovery and redemption of sorts, but something to aspire to. So when her own words, when she talked about on RuPaul that, how she was doing a self-assessment of how she got where she was and how she wanted something different and what she wanted in a man, and to have gotten that, having done, what we believe to be the inner work to be receptive of that and to recognize some things that she needed to change about herself, to suggest that now that you have these things, instead of singing about something to that point about, getting the ultimate goal, it seems as though you are doing the opposite of what you said you did not want for yourself, encouraging other women. And I think that is why is backlash. I think, I think that's the backlash. And that's definitely the backlash for myself, because for me, if you will, because I remember what it was like and being a single mom. And, yes, my daughter's father played a part. Yes, he provided, child support, but the day-to-day was on me. And, the doctor's appointments, education, all that was on me. And, because money is required for a child, but is more than that. I mean, the case in point today, my daughter and son-in-law, are y'all with me so far? Are you with me so far with where I'm going with this? Please engage me. Let me know if you're with me so far. If you're tracking, I'm setting the stage here. Okay, work with me. Let's go. They are married and they have a wonderful child. Well, one daughter's sick. She has a husband, and yesterday she didn't go to work. So he took care of the baby all day so she could, get the rest and whatever. But he had to go back to work today. And so the work that he didn't get done yesterday, he had yesterday's work plus today's work. Well, when I was raising my daughter, I had nobody else. So sick or not, I was on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that is one of the things that's the reason why she's getting some pushback, because there's nothing glamorous about that, especially if you're a single mother.
So there's nothing, I'm trying to clarify. So there's nothing to sneak to what you just said when it comes to if you think you're she's glorifying being independent.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this.
Okay.
Even though she is married to one of the superstars of the NFL, she is also still defending. Well, I would hope she would still be on the side of Black women all over women period all over the country, due to the fact that there are still men out here who want nothing but sexual attention. And it all goes back to her first song, her first single, My Goodies.
Okay, I want you to pay attention now. The peanut is about to get chewy. Okay, I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying here. Okay, because again, my position is I would not trade being a mother to my daughter for anything in the world. She made me the woman I am today. Truly. Because if becoming a parent, specifically a mother, does not make a woman get her shit together, she's a sorry bitch. You heard it here first. And my daughter, because by my own admission, I was pretty reckless. Again, now we're not just talking about the birth control piece, not taking that right. Just talking about how I handled my money. Because I would go shopping before I would pay my rent. So she grew me up. So the peanut's about to get chewy right now. So let's pay attention.
And if you listen to that song in context, it's basically telling you, in general, if you don't want me, if you don't want my time, if you just want sex, if you just want to for me to be a baby mama, or all this other stuff that is just at the bottom of the barrel, if you don't want me at the highest plight with you, if you want me at lockstep with you in a positive light, then you don't deserve my time. You don't deserve my hand in marriage. You don't even deserve my cookies. So this, going back forward, this is somewhat, in my opinion, similar. That song is similar to the previous song, My Goodies. So when she says independent, she's speaking for generally women, especially for Black women. She's speaking for them. And
okay, I'm sorry. I have to say it before I forget. The reason why I want to push back on that is because that song is pre her own experiences. That song is pre dating Future, pre success of her own, pre becoming a single mother, pre coming to the realization that that's not what she wanted. So when we become more informed, whether by the life we've lived, well, really primarily from the life we live, it should make a difference. It should suggest that we have an evolution of thinking and action. Because when I was younger, I always call it pre-K, meaning pre-kid, there were a lot of things I said, did, and thought prior to becoming a single mother, prior to becoming, even in a relationship with her father. So based on those things, my way of thinking and acting and posturing and encouraging changed because I had lived to be able from the other side. So again, it would be ridiculous of me, especially if I'm in a position of influence, as she is, to suggest the same things I did prior to my evolution as a woman and now a mother. As I listened to this, I was cooking with gas. What do you think? Let me know. Am I cooking with gas or am I cooking with gas? Please let me know what you think. I'm waiting. I'll wait. Am I cooking with gas Or am I cooking with gas? I went on and put the link in the chat if anybody wants to come and join in the conversation, because I have my thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts. So let's continue, shall we?
Well, I understand that, and I get where you're coming from, but I would say this. I know that. Well, she has made some mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all make bad choices. Mm-hmm. But in the end, we want to magnify ourselves to be a much greater person, a much better person. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this is what I believe this woman did. This is a simple fact that she went from a thug nigga to, well, how do the young kids say it? Pause. A handsome young man who is making money hand over fist and is also a athlete. So but I believe what you're saying is true. However, again, when it comes to, because we're not just talking about women here, we're talking about men. Men seem to make the mistake for the, this testicular fortitude to come to these women.
Okay, let me fast forward here, because I want you to hear this part that I'm about to grow in. And again, it was a really good discussion, I think, and I thank him for inviting me on. So let's continue.
Oh, if you,
I wanted to, because I wanted to do something really quick. Okay, so Sierra is 37.
That's it?
She was born in 1985. Okay, so 37, and the song "My Goodies" came out in 2004. So let's 85, 95. So she was basically 19 when that song "My Goodies" came out. Mm-hmm. She was singing to women that are 19, and that's where she was in her life. Mm-hmm. She is now 37. Mm-hmm. She's 37. She's a mother. Prior to being 37, she was a single. So I think it's incumbent upon us, mm-hmm, when we get to a certain age, and we particularly, not even just a certain age, when we've lived a certain amount of life, our art should reflect our life. I will think about Anita Baker. I remember when she got married, and I think it may have been the Compositions album, but I forget exactly what album. But when she got married, and even when she was engaged or whatever, it was reflective in her music, because she talked about love. She talked about giving you the best that I got. She talked about, which was very different than the music. Now, it was never salacious, because that's not what she was. But her music prior to becoming a wife and mother was very different than when she met that man. And we all know that, there was a dissolution of marriage. But I'm talking about her art was reflected by her life. So when you talk about a 19-year-old Sierra talking about My Goodies, that was based on where she was in her life. So even, I think, and it really is sending a false, it is, what am I trying to think? I can't think of the word. A false, but it's duplicitous, because again, she's not, you can encourage the independence of, getting money, education on your ground, but also it can be intertwined with getting to what I got, if that's what you want. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where the pushback is coming, not because it may not be a great song. But again, it will be different if she was singing that song at 20, even 25, before she had experienced a future, before she had experienced not only a future, but dealing with a man that had multiple baby mamas. Because see, Goodies. Okay, are y'all rocking with me so far? Am I making sense? Because we're gonna dig a little deeper. Am I making sense so far? Am I making sense? Because I'm not absolving men, but I'm sure not absolving women for our role, because we have influence. Again, particularly when we talk about, or you hear talked about in these spaces, that the older women should teach the younger women, and it's teaching the younger women by telling the truth about what this thing is. Telling the truth. Let's go. It was prior to all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where the pushback comes from, when you come full circle and you hear now. And let's take Russell Wilson's money off the table. Let's talk about the character of the man, because because both of them were rich.
Mm-hmm.
The character of the men are different. So even if you want to take it off the table, and she ended up marrying a lawyer that was not in their entertainment industry, that still possessed all the character traits of a Russell Wilson, when he talked about, it was his idea for abstinence, because he said, if you can love somebody without that, you are really loving them. So let's even take the money off of it, just the character of the man. Being that she has experienced that, why not talk about that, intertwine that in your song? And the reason we're not intertwining that in the song is because that's not what's going to sell. So it becomes a question of, what are you selling reality, or are you selling a fantasy? And if are you thinking about just the money? Because again, I was thinking about it earlier today, and I didn't even know we were going to go there with this. But one of the things, when I got promoted to, I think it was my second promotion, I got promoted to captain in the Army. And I remember, and one of the things I said in my speech was that I realized that I have a greater responsibility than just to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, I had my daughter, and realizing I had a greater responsibility to her, but I had a greater responsibility to those women, those Black women specifically, that were coming behind me, who saw me as an example of what they wanted to be, whether it had been a mother or whether it had been an officer and a lady. I realized I had a greater responsibility. So that's what I'm saying where she is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got that. So that's the foundation of my pushback as related to Sierra, in this thing of glorifying and glamorizing this independence. Now listen, it's independence and self-sufficiency is one thing, but you do what you have to do, okay? But touting it as if that is the end all be all, as y'all like to say, that's disingenuous. But I'm going to be honest here. And I said in this interview, I remember, again, being a younger mind, and by this time I had my daughter. She may have been a toddler or whatever, but when Destiny's Child song came out, Independent Women, I was waving my hand all up in that. The clothes, I bought it. The ring, I bought it. My house, I bought. I was doing all that because the rubber hadn't met the road yet of how draining it was or was it how draining it was going to be doing it by myself, primarily by myself. I give my daughter's father credit where it's due, but I'm going to say some things he didn't do either. Okay? So that's what we got to be honest about that. Okay, so now let's go to another one. And then I'm going to show y'all the PowerPoint because we're going to talk about it. Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer. Hit the like button. How many remember when she goes on Instagram and she praises single parents? How many? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that. And the reason why I share these things and talk about it, because see, it ain't business for me. It's personal. It's personal. Yeah, I make a couple of coins here and there, and they're cute with the AdSense. That's cute. But it's personal for me. Even this video is personal for me because long after I'm gone, my G babies are going to be able to see what their grandmother was about. You heard? It's personal for me. Like I said, the coins are cute. You know, me and my G babies can go get our nails done. I could take her to the museum and stuff like that. But that ain't why I'm here. Y'all don't ever see me saying hit the Cash App. I appreciate it when you do. I'm not soliciting for it though. Let's go. So Kiki Palmer, let's go.
Pull out your cape. Matter of fact, if you are a single parent, pull out your cape. Matter of fact, clip off your angel wings because I don't know how it is you did it. And I really don't want this to sound like, pandery or something like this, because I know there's 1,000,001 reasons why somebody wants to be a single parent or has become a single parent. Maybe they lost somebody. Maybe they don't want to deal with somebody. Maybe it's a choice. But when it comes to raising a kid, I've already learned in these short few days that it takes a village. And sometimes that's a privilege. And I just want anybody out there that is a single parent that's been doing this, friends of mine, people that I don't know, family members of mine, I'm really in my heart, bring tears to my eyes. I am just truly, profoundly impressed. I just came on here to
Before I get into it, let me know what your thoughts were when you all, if for those of you who just saw it now or saw it when it came out, because there were definitely mixed reviews about it. And then I'm going to tell you mine. So let me know what you thought when you saw this either now or when you saw it the first time. And then I'm going to tell you my thoughts. I'll wait for a moment. As you're typing your comments in, I will tell you when I saw it the first time, I ain't gonna lie, I got choked up right here. I got choked up right here because I could see that she was getting choked up. And this is another thing I tell ladies. No matter how independent you are, the moment a child is in the equation, you are now dependent upon somebody else to help you raise that child. I'm gonna say that one more again. No matter how independent you think you are, the moment you have a child, you are now dependent upon others to help you raise that child if you plan to do it correctly. Even if you are married and you are self-sufficient, the moment a child comes into the equation, you are now dependent, i.e., my daughter and son-in-law who needed the help from Gigi when my daughter was sick and he was going to work or taking care of the baby. So again, I don't care how independent you are. The moment that you drop a child, oh, you're dependent now. And it's not just have to do with money. Because you can have a bunch of money, but guess you still need somebody else to help you with that kid. The money just as a resource to allow you to hire somebody, but you still need some help. So what are your thoughts about what she said here? Y'all still ain't putting nothing in there. Okay, you better go on it, that part right there. And that's a blessing of being retired because I do what I want to do. But I'm gonna tell you, like I said, I got choked up when I saw that because I remember, and now we're about to get to the PowerPoint. I'm gonna take y'all down memory lane. I'm gonna let y'all go with me. Cause see, y'all know I'm vulnerable. I keep it 1,000 with you. You know, I share. Yes, you need both parents. And in addition to both parents, you need a village. It's a privilege. And see, the village I know of was my grandparents, the neighbors. I'm talking when I was a kid. Okay. My daughter has said to me several times, even my son-in-law said, he said, I don't know how you did it. I said, I don't know how I did it either. Now I'm gonna tell you something. 90% of it was all on me, but the other 10%, that was my village. And it is a privilege. Because again, nothing makes you more dependent than a child, because you've got to entrust that human being that you love in the hands of somebody else, even if it's just for a little while. But what's going to happen? Either that child's going to make you become great, or it's going to expose a failure that you are. Okay? So when this young lady was talking about how in just a couple of days she realized how challenging it was, I remember that. I remember you think about how your life is going to change when you're pregnant, but you never consider about how it's going to change when the child actually gets here. Because I'm going to tell you something. I've had to encourage my daughter as even recently. And it's a 2-parent household, but they both work. They were being parents 24 hours a day and working. Gigi to the rescue. Gigi to the rescue. My sister is a single parent, and she has the money from the fathers, but the support isn't there most days. It's hard, and she does her best. Our family help whenever, and it absolutely is. It absolutely is. Money's one thing, time is another. I remember when I remember, because I'm like I said, it's personal for me. I share my story with you because it's personal for me. Maybe somebody can identify with what I've gone through, or maybe it can prevent somebody from doing what I did. I remember when I was pregnant and I got ready when I had my daughter, I was in California. And, there's a whole bunch of people that come in when you have a baby. My mom got there the day before I had her. Then as soon as my mom left, my aunt, who's in the next room, came and stayed for a couple of weeks. Then as soon as my aunt left, my sister came and stayed for a couple of weeks. And I'll never forget when the last person left to go home, I closed the door and I looked over at that crib. And I said, what do I do now? And I was crying. I was kind of like, what do I do now? Seriously. Okay. Without my mom and mother-in-law, it would have been a nightmare. It taught me how to humble myself and expectations. You better grow. That's a grow you real moment. It takes yes, it does. But here's the thing. What determines the village you have? I'm going to ask, this is a question. It takes a village, but what determines the kind of village you have? Or if you'll get a village? Give me your thought. Tell me what you think determines the kind of village you'll have, or if you'll have a village at all. I'll wait. Give you a few seconds. Let me know what you think. There's nothing glamorous about it. Yeah. It's hard for me with the help of my husband. You just heard me talk about my daughter and son-in-law. You understand me? Well, since no one's answered, I think what determines the kind of village you have, or if you'll have a village at all, depends on the kind of person you are. What kind of person you are, and how you are going about, what is your philosophy on parenting yourself? Even if you're not really sure what you're doing, what are your principles? What are your standards? Are you a nice person? Does somebody want to deal with your behind? Let's get into it. All right, here we go. PowerPoint time. PowerPoint time. Okay, y'all. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me get it again. Okay, so you see it here. I had a secret. I had a secret. I had a secret. Y'all see the smile? I didn't know I was pregnant, y'all. I didn't know I was pregnant. That's to your left, with the high top fade. That's my daughter's godfather, my brother from another mother. And on the other side, I forget his name, but both of them were in the Marine Corps. I had a secret and didn't even know I had it. I had a bun in the oven. I had, and you look back on the pictures now and you realize I was glowing. I was kind of glowing. Okay. And then on the way home, I threw up. That should have been a sign. That should have been a sign. I threw up. Had a bun in the oven. The beginnings. The beginnings. I was changed. My life was changed. But here's the thing, though. You start thinking about things differently, or you should, when you know you got a child coming. In my mind, I'd already become a statistic. Well, what do you mean by that, TJ? I had become a statistic because I was unmarried. I hadn't finished my degree. So at that moment, I said, I don't want to be, I had to change some things. I was already a statistic. I was a single, unwed mother with no education. I hadn't finished nothing. But that little person was depending on me. Okay, so a baby doesn't need to be taught how to be a baby, but a baby teach you. You be growing people. Dang, you sure right about it. Dang. I worked for Sony Pictures Entertainment. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was a receptionist. I had a village to begin with, but I knew I needed more. I needed some help. I didn't realize how tough it was gonna be. Let's go. Okay, here. I'm taking y'all down memory lane. I'm sharing some stuff with y'all. Because see, I want to encourage somebody today. I want to encourage you because if you are a single mother, if you're pregnant and you are a single mother, you can do it. Would I want that for you? Absolutely not. Because it ain't easy and it ain't cute. But if that is where you are, this is what you can do. But you're going to have to make some tough choices to course correct. You're going to have to get a village, but you're going to have to examine what kind of person are you that somebody want to even be a part of your village. What? This is part of my village. This is part of my village. You see here at the bottom, that's my brother from another mother, my daughter's godfather, who was there for me. My college roommate, that's in the black next to me, my college roommate. This woman, when my daughter was a toddler, she was in law school with zero monies. She sent money to me to take my daughter to the doctor when her father wouldn't. I'm not trying to bash him. I'm just stating a fact. And I still hadn't figured out what I want to do with myself. So because I'm in position that I'm having to be dependent, I don't know if he's going to feel like, because this was before me and her father got married. I don't know if he's going to want to support us or not. I had to make some decisions. Up on the top left, my village, the one in the middle, best friend since the age of 8. My daughter's named after her. My village. The one to the left of her, my village, we met in a Walmart in the year 2000. My village helped me raise my kid. By this time, I figured out, in order for me to have a life that I want for my daughter, I'm gonna have to, because I was in the reserve at that time. I decided to go full time into the military. But here's where the rubber meets the road, you guys. Okay, I see you. Here's where the rubber meets the road. When I entered into this commitment to go into ROTC, I asked my mother, will you help me with my daughter? Because only if you help me with her will I be able to do this. Meaning, I was in graduate school, I was working 2 jobs, and I was in ROTC. And I asked my mom, will you help me? Because I'm going to have to drop her off in the morning. I'm going to have to go down to the campus, do my PT. I'm going to have to do all this. And I can't do it if you tell me you're not going to help me. If you're not going to be able to help me, I'll understand. But I need to know I'll be able to help you. I'm willing to be there to help you. I start the process. Guess what? Life changes. People change their minds. Circumstances change. And that happened. Several times I went to drop my daughter off. My mom said, I don't feel like it today. So again, it's going to be me. So I had to what? Expand my village. I was pissed off. I ain't going to lie. But she was my child, not my mom's. I was pissed. But I did what I had to do. Let's go. Everything I do for her. Or did for her. She looks just like my granddaughter, by the way. As I look at these pictures, my Stinky looks just like her mother. My village. Let's talk about this. I love this picture, and I'm going to tell you why. I want to share this with you. And it goes back to Keke Palmer's thing. A village is a privilege. This lady that sits standing next to my daughter when Danielle was in kindergarten. I'm on active duty in the military. I'm at Fort Hood. One of my soldiers, again, I'm going someplace I had no relatives, no friend, didn't know nobody. One of my soldiers referred me to this lady. Sat down with her and her family. She was a former soldier, retired soldier herself. Loved my kid. Loved my kid. To enable me to be the mother I needed to be for her. It's a village. I'm helping you. I want to help. And that's why I share, because it's personal for me. It's personal for me. Hit the like button. My aunt right here in the blue, she's here in my home. We're living with us now. Part of my village, helping me to take care and raise my daughter. Let's continue. Promotion to first lieutenant, promotion to captain. And again, that's why, and I want to kind of bring this up really quickly in the midst of what's going on in these YouTube streets with regarding to some content creators and the idea of race and all that kind of stuff. All that notwithstanding, that's why I want to share this picture, because this picture here is another duty station in San Diego that I was led to her by referral. This woman loved my daughter. These 2 women, There's only a picture of one in here, but Miss Elvie and Miss Joanne love my daughter. I used to say she had a Caucasian and Hispanic grandmother, both of them. Miss Elvie was Hispanic, Miss Joanne was Caucasian. They love my kid. I've seen all this before. The nuclear family, that's where it starts. This is her father. We found our way back to one another, got married, tried to have the nuclear family. We attempted it. It didn't work. It didn't work. You heard my daughter say, no, the best thing they could have did was divorce. But we were committed to our daughter. Cute picture in it. And ladies, you see I'm taller than him. You see I'm taller than him. That's an aside. Don't be superficial. So let's get back to the thing, what I want to encourage you. What I wanted to talk about the village, but I want to talk about the fact, far as women, I realize I'm pretty dynamic. And what I mean by that. What motivated me to do the things that I did in my career largely is because I had a mouth to feed, but I want to be a positive and powerful example, not only to her, but to women. Again, I messed up. My mindset was wrong with the independence thing, thinking I could do it all and really believe in that. But there was a price to pay for it. And the price to pay for it was loneliness. The price to pay for it was choosing wrong. But one of the benefits of the things that I did in my life, like moments in this picture here, I was the first to transfer, inter-service transfer from the Army to the Navy. As a human resources officer, I was the first person to do that. I was the person when I transferred into the Navy to help devise the criteria for those who were going to be kicked out of the Navy to go into the Army. I wrote that criteria because based on my Army experience. Because of my initiative and my drive and being able to speak up when men and women wouldn't, I saved over 500 Navy officers' jobs that were going to be kicked out. I'm pretty dynamic, if I do say so myself. But what enabled me to do all of that was the fact that I had a village that enabled me to concentrate on my job and be the best at it, knowing that my daughter was in good hands with whomever I left her with. It enabled me to concentrate on my job, on my work. But knowing what I know now, would I rather have had the nuclear family intact? Yeah, I would. I would have. Because I realized my daughter, as much as I gave her, there's some things that she missed out on too. As a single mother, I was also the first person to graduate and get a commission through the University of Oklahoma's ROTC program as a graduate student and mother. The first. So again, being a parent will make you realize your greatness or reveal how much of a failure you truly are. And like I said, if becoming a mother doesn't make a woman get her crap together, she's a sorry bitch. But I'm here to talk about and to share with you, it's personal for me. It's personal for me when I talk about Sierra I don't agree with that song. I like Sierra, but I don't agree with the message that she was sending. I likened it when you're no better, you do better. Eve. How many know Eve? How many remember Eve when she was rapping? How many remember that? And I said, Eve is now, the young people probably don't even remember that Eve actually used to rap with the Rough Riders. They probably don't even remember that. Why? She's at a different place in her life now. It would be foolish of her to rap, sing the same type of rap song she did before she got married and had a child. It would be foolish of her to wear the same type of stuff that she wore before she got married and had a child. It would be foolish of me to talk about being an independent woman, having it all, as where it's at, knowing what I know. It would be foolish. I am proud of the things that I accomplished. I'm proud of what I was able to provide my daughter, but I am also honest that it wasn't easy. And I'm also honest that I'm glad my daughter didn't do it my way. I'm honest. I'm glad that I showed my daughter a work ethic because, again, one thing for sure, she saw me grinding. I'm sorry that I didn't teach her, she didn't have the opportunity to see me interact with in a healthy relationship more. I regret that. But I'm grateful that she's able to see it now. I'm grateful that our grandchildren can see it now. So that's something that they will aspire to, because what I know now that I didn't really appreciate then, what I have now with my husband is just as important to aspire to, if not more, than the accolades I got. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit up here. I'm not going to sit up here and put and glorify that and glamorize it. I'm not. And I think Sierra is doing women a disservice. Just an example of her, in my opinion. And women like that are doing a disservice. And again, I'm coming to you in honesty because, again, out of my ignorance, I did the same thing. Out of my ignorance, I did the same thing. It's personal for me. It's personal for me. It's personal for me. I'm grateful that my daughter and my granddaughter, well, my granddaughter specifically, has what I didn't have, and she has what her mother didn't have. I'm grateful for my village because without them, I would not have been able to do the things I was able to do, not just in my career, but to provide for my daughter. It's sad if you just can't be with the father too, because he turns out to be intolerable and would be actually not good. Listen, let me tell you something, and that's another honesty thing for me. I didn't pick well with my daughter's father. Now, he gave me the greatest blessing, which is our daughter, but I rushed into that, and I was reckless. So once you do that, you gotta lay in the bed that you made for yourself. And I did that. But that's why you don't want to do it the way I did, because again, you got to get to know people. You got to get to know people. Because just what they might be good in bed don't mean they be a good father. Just because they're good in bed don't mean they're going to be a good mother. Now, fortunately for me, I wasn't the best mother, but I was a good one. you got, And another thing, I didn't continue to have kids. I didn't continue to have kids because I knew how difficult it was with the one I had. I didn't continue to have kids. I said to myself, if I had another child, I wanted to be within the confines of marriage, which is what I should have done in the beginning, but I didn't, but I learned from it. And here's a funny thing. You know how things can be, we can be so used to doing things wrong. It feels wrong when we do it right. Well, what do you mean by that? I remember when my daughter shared with me that she was pregnant, and she wasn't the most excited because she didn't think that she was ready. And for a while, her emotions were really a roller coaster. And it took me and my mother to say, do you realize you're the first in a couple of generations within our family to actually do it the right way? And it wasn't until my mother said that, I'm like, dang, that's true. Meaning, she finished school, she met her husband in college, graduated from college, got married, and then had a child. But it wasn't, I'm like, wow, you get used to doing it the wrong way. When you do it the right way, it feels foreign to you. That's crazy. So we had to encourage her, you did it the right way. And that's going to be an example for your daughter. That's going to be an example for your daughter. So, and the reason, like I said, I wanted to come because I wanted to share. Let's see what we got here. I had one more, was married and knew my husband well and didn't have another baby. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said this. I'm gonna keep this up. I had one more, was married and knew my husband well and didn't have another baby right away. This is key because we women determine birth. And it's our bodies. She chose not to have a child right away. Check this out. I did the same thing. I didn't end up having a child. When me and my daughter's father got married, he wanted a child right away. He wanted to go for a boy. Now, because we had been estranged before me and him got together to reconnect to have when we had our daughter, we had been estranged and we got back together. He wanted to immediately try for another child. And I said, no. I said, let us be a family with our daughter for at least 2 to 3 years before trying to have another child. He wasn't pleased, but I meant that. I meant that. I said, let us focus on being a family, the three of us, before we bring another child into it. I'm glad I stood firm because guess what? We didn't last 2 to 3 years. And what would that have meant for me? So ladies, you don't have to have a child for everybody you with, and you don't have to have children back to back, even when you're married. You can let me know if you disagree. But again, I'm glad I stood firm on that. And it wasn't because I was just trying to be difficult. I really wanted us to work as a core family with the daughter we had because of the first 5 years of her life. It wasn't, we were back and forth. And I wanted her to enjoy both of her parents together as a family before we brought another child into it. And regrettably, we weren't able to give her that. But I'm glad that I didn't bring another child in because, again, I knew how difficult it was to take care of the one I had if he decided that he didn't want to be a part of the equation, which sometimes he did decide he didn't want to be a part of the equation. I'm just telling you, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. Oh, I just thought about something. Remember, I was talking about Eve a minute ago, right? And I don't know if y'all remember, she had this song with Missy Elliott a while back ago, and it was Hot Boys. And excuse my words, but part of the rap, part of the song, she talks about, she's singing, if your team can handle my bitches, then we gonna ride. Work out stallions, thugs open wide. So that's the gist of it. So my point would be, what what would she look like singing that kind of stuff right now, dressing the way she dressed then, now that she's a wife and mother? I'm asking for a friend. You see what I'm saying? You should evolve. Sierra, you're in a position of influence. You're in a position of influence. And here's the thing, I said that in the interview with We On Lock. She doesn't have to do music. Just like I don't have to work. So that means she's choosing to do music, which is fine, but she can also choose the kind of music she puts out, because why? She doesn't have to do music. She has a husband who's wealthy. She's wealthy in her own right. She's a model. She's gorgeous. So why put out the same type of music at 37 that you put out when you was 19? Why dress that way as you are raising a daughter? Okay. I'm just asking. So again, we have a responsibility, ladies. And I take mine seriously. I take mine seriously. I don't get it right all the time, and I'm the first to say that, but I take my role as an elder now seriously. And even before I was an elder, I took my role as a lady, as an officer, as a mother, as a woman of standards seriously. And now a wife, very seriously. Very seriously. And it's personal for me, because I do want to see us win. I want to see every woman that wants to be married and in a healthy relationship. I want that for you. I want it for you, and that's why I share the things that I did well and the things I didn't do well. I share it with you so you don't have to wait until you're 51 to find the love of your lifetime. I share it with you because you can have both. You can work and you can have a family, because we've been doing it forever. But keeping in mind what's really important. Keeping in mind what's really important. Last thing, and I'm gonna let you go. Where's my baby? Okay, I was trying to see if I had a picture of my baby here, but when I was thinking about trying to put this together for you all, and I was going through the pictures and reminiscing over where I was in my life and the things I did at that particular point in my life, I was humbled, but I was also very proud of myself. But what makes me even more proud is that my husband is proud of me. And all these things I did before I met him. Well, you may say, well, TJ, how do you know your husband is proud of you? Because again, this is before you met him. Well, I wasn't for sure until recently. We were having some work done around the house, and one of the contractors came, and I always believe in asking for military discounts. I want mines. And the contractor said, I noticed your flag, and I noticed a picture of something, military plaque or whatever. Was there somebody in the military here? He said, yes, my wife, military retired. Yes, she's a veteran. And he just stuck his chest out. And as I was listening to him describe me and my accomplishments, I felt proud that he was proud of me, if that makes any sense. So, and he respects what I've done, and he values it and knows the kind of person and woman that I am. And he is not bothered by it in the least. In the least. And I haven't always been that fortunate. So it's a full circle moment here, ladies and gentlemen. I know I've kind of been all over the place. I don't profess to be a professional with this thing. Again, it's a hobby for me. So it's a hobby for me. But I share things as they come to mind because I think it could be helpful. Sometimes it's entertaining, sometimes it's not. But I hope it will be a source of inspiration because, again, I've been hearing just today alone that Black people specifically don't know how to do business, particularly as it relates to YouTube, and it's a business. And I get it because I was able to write off some stuff on my taxes. Okay. But that's not why I'm here though. I'm here because for a woman who had everything and has everything, I almost lost it all when I considered taking my life. And that's what brought me here. In a way of healing myself, but in so doing, thinking that maybe I can help somebody else who may be going through something, who may be battling mental health issues, who may be battling not feeling good enough, not feeling down because you are a single mother or a baby mama, feeling down because you may not know which way to go, you may not have any direction, feeling down because you picked wrong men, may have resulted in children and may not. That's why I came here. So yeah, it's cute. The AdSense they're cute. But that's not my source of, income. I have multiple, thankfully. But that's not why I'm here. I'm doing it as a hobby. And it's funny because at one point it was starting to feel like a job. And I'm like, and that's when I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I done worked. Let's see. I saw what you're made of and what you did. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And again, I want to inspire somebody. And I'm I'm a woman born to an unwed mother who struggled. But somehow it turned out all right. Not because she did everything right, because she didn't. She had a village that consisted of my grandfather, my aunt, friends, a work ethic. So it's not because you do everything right. Mom was not a perfect mom, made many mistakes. Again, I've shared, I saw things I probably shouldn't have seen. But it made me the person I am. It made me one able to persevere. Made me one to not take no for an answer. When you say I can't do something, we'll see about that. So again, it's personal for me. And again, I know it's time to let you go, but here's another thing. In being an inspiration to women, I'm not going to suggest that I'm going to suggest that we be more cooperative. Definitely that. But being cooperative does not mean that you do not have a voice and that you do not have a mind, that you cannot think. It doesn't mean that. It means that you learn how to do those things differently to get your desired result. It means that in the boardroom, because many of us are in the boardroom, you do what you got to do, but when you are in the home, that you leave that at the door. That's part of the mistake. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I was in charge, at the office, and I thought I was in charge when I came home, largely too because I was a single mother. So I took that stuff into my relationship. Bad move. And then wonder why it didn't work. Wondered why when I, met a man who was just as assertive, if not more than me, that we went like this. And the men that weren't as assertive, in as much as I liked it in the beginning, I ended up rolling over them and then didn't, I didn't want no man like that. So I'm telling you, ladies, it's not about what we have bringing to the table, it's how we wield it. How we wield it. It's personal for me. And I'm going to tell you why it's personal for me, because I have young men and young women who have reached out to me and asked me my opinion on certain things. And I appreciate that. That lets me know I'm making a difference. And I want to be able to continue to do that. And if I can do it and make some coins, that's cute. But that's not my motivation. It's not my motivation. Okay. All right. So that's it. Any questions? Any questions? Thank y'all for joining me. Any questions? Okay. Friday, I have an interview set up with Tommy B of Combo and Chill with Tommy B. I am so excited because we're going to talk all things manhood, fatherhood, protection, provision, leadership. We're going to talk about all of it. I am really excited because I really admire this young man. What inspired me to reach out to him is when he on his Instagram, how he has pictures of him on his grind, but also pictures of himself with his children. I love that. Girl, you ain't said nothing but a word right here. You ain't said nothing but a word. I wish somebody would have told me that. But here's the thing. Even if they would have told me, I probably wouldn't have listened. I'll be honest. I probably wouldn't listen. So that's why y'all need to get a hold of this so you won't be hard-headed like me and miss out. Because again, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the life I have had, and I'm grateful for the life I have with Mr. Randolph. You ain't said nothing but a word. You ain't said nothing but a word. So yeah, I'm having this conversation with Tommy B on Friday at 1:00 Central Time. I'm excited. If ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions that you want to ask him, please join us at 1:00. I'm very excited. In my opinion, this is the kind of young man that you would want for your daughters. My daughter's already taken. And I love my son-in-law. And when we met him and saw what kind of man he was, we told us, listen, you can mess up if you want to, but we keeping him. So you better get your mind right. Thankfully, she did. So that's on Friday. And I'm thinking about what I want to do here and there. And I may cut some clips of, I mean, like I said, if it feels like work, I don't want to do it. Not too much. But anyway, thank y'all for stopping by. I appreciate it. Please hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. And hopefully that, some people, you've gotten something out of what I've shared of what is possible. You've gotten something. The village is important. But again, I don't think I would have had the village I had if I was a nasty bitch. Oh. See, y'all made me think of something else. 55 and a half in my mind. Okay. I talked about the village, and then I'm going for real this time. Again, not only because of the kind of person I was, but the kind of child I was raising. Because my daughter got me indoors that I couldn't get in on my own. Because my daughter was well behaved, clean, smart, well-mannered. My daughter got me indoors I couldn't get in. Well, what do you mean by that, TJ? I'm glad you asked. And this is going to be the last one for real. When me and her father were divorcing, my credit wasn't that great, nor was my money. For a while, me and my daughter, she had to be about 6-ish. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. Sure did. And I wanted a bigger place, and I found this place in a really nice neighborhood. And I knew I could afford the rent, but I knew my credit wasn't that great to qualify for it with that. So I asked to meet with the landlord, and I took my daughter with me. And she saw how I interacted with my daughter and how my daughter interacted with me, and how well-behaved, well-spoken, well-mannered my daughter was. And I wrote a letter, and, I submitted my application with my letter of consideration. And she told me that what got me the place was my daughter, because I let her know what kind of mother I was. And that lady, who happened to be Caucasian, became a part of my village too. Yeah. I'm smiling thinking back on the adventures of my life with my daughter and the village along the way, because I wouldn't have been able to raise her without them. And really quickly, gosh, y'all, I'm sorry. I keep going back. I'm sorry, but I gotta tell y'all this. Y'all part of my village too. So I'm gonna share this with you real quick. I want to share this with you. And the village was so deep. Miss Joanne, and this is something I'm gonna share this with you. Okay. Miss Elvie and Miss Joanne, they had a home daycare, and they had basically raised everyone in the community when we lived in San Diego at that time. And they were roommates. Now, were they gay? I don't know. I never asked. But one thing I know for sure, those women love my daughter. They loved my child. And she loved them. So much so, you see my daughter's like 6 or 7 in this picture. So much so, once my daughter was getting ready to graduate from high school, and we had long since moved and everything, my daughter came to me, and she, with tears in her eyes, asked me to find them. Because we had lost contact, because after we left San Diego, they moved to another state and retired. So we had fell out of contact with them. My daughter came to me, and so she was a senior in high school by this time, and she wanted me to find them. because she wanted to let them know that she was getting ready to graduate from high school. And she wanted to tell them that, and was hoping that they could come. So I did my research and found them. I found them. And she talked to them and let them know, because they made an impact on her life. And because she asked for me to find them, let me know what the village meant to her. What the village meant to her. Because we're talking like she's about 7 on this picture. So we're talking about 10 years later. I found them. Oh, I'm getting chills. I'm getting misty. So I'm telling you what's possible. I'm telling you what's possible. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Okay. That's it. Woo, it got me there. Okay, so again, because it's personal for me. It's personal for me. It's personal for me. Okay. So again, thank y'all for stopping by. You know how I do it. I got to shout out my firstborn nephew, Ryan Skunk Adams, on his song Sunshine and Rain. Go pick it up on Apple Music, all music streaming platforms. Follow him on Instagram. I am Spunk. Okay. And until next time, ciao for now.
Said the God story, tell. You don't hear me, said I got a story about a girl, yeah. Check. See, I've been up all night, piping this love letter. Open your open, I love and keeping you on red. I don't want my ain't nothing worse than the way. I don't know the nigga drop. So I say hi. Ain't no pressure, just want a good time. Something we get to stand up on a timeline. My time, girl, magic carpet around the world. She'll show you things that you can't imagine. Straight hair, all fancy girl, right as diamond, ask her, she's my one, little girl. Oh, mama.
First we outside, you beaming your light, shades of dope. Now walking in pools, water might ease. So you had to play that cold, but the devil is on my knees. Girl, your love is the antidote. Body like a goddess, your beauty on displays, and the flames and the funnels, you shining like discos. But who put that through the fire? The road is froze. I'ma wrap your envelope, this close. I don't beat around bushes, I don't tip toes. Not a ballerina, let's drop jaws, just words and rain dance, jaws, applause. But these fake colossal, push shovels to dirt, digging on my face, every hurt, I trust, I've dropped down before, don't tell me that they lost, it's two sides to every coin, every rose gon' have its own, I'm seeing these films, my palms bleed, maybe your rain stains from these leaves, I still need, yeah.